Thanks for joining us for this overview of finances related to the Village Post Office site. These slides are an abbreviated version of others available on the ONO 60 Info website. A little bit of history makes it clear the tremendous value financially and in general that this site embodies. The U.S. Postal Service has vacated the building. Their lease expired in 2013. They've been paying rent up until that point since 1960. The building is now town-owned, in essence a gift from the federal government that built it in 1958. It's a fantastic opportunity to benefit Village and Township, prime New Jersey real estate located at the center of town. It's a special opportunity for the community to influence prime real estate. Most other property in town and in the Village is privately owned. So it's time to assess options that benefit the Village and residents throughout Maplewood. So who's driving this at this point? The current plan is to demolish and rebuild the building. This image shows the most recent rendering for the building being proposed. There is a plan to eliminate one floor, but it has not yet been shared with the public. The smallest retail space proposed is double the typical Maplewood space. The others are among the largest in town. This plan is to demolish and rebuild. This approach and this style of building is the only alternative that has been considered so far. So let's talk about whether other alternatives might also be viable. First of all, what is the site worth? Well, in terms of revenue, the town could continue to rent it, or the town could sell the site and collect taxes. In either case, the added income may reduce taxes for other property owners. If the town chooses to sell, there'll be a one-time profit from sale. That could be used to pay township bills or may reduce taxes. These two numbers tell us what is financially realistic to consider for the site. Let's look at profit on sale first. If we sell this public land today, what's the profit? Two scenarios. It can be sold to an investor who would reuse the building, possibly improve or expand it, or it could be sold to a developer who would demolish the building and build a new one. The town has estimated that the land, when sold to a developer, would be worth about $1.2 million, and following the complex process of demolition and remediation, the profits to the town may be in the order of $950,000. On the other hand, we see that the sale to the developer results in a lower profit due largely to the loss of the building value and the cost of demolition. The township in both these cases loses ownership and control of the property, something that should be discussed given that it's prime real estate. And to put things in perspective, the proceeds from selling the land to a developer really amount to not much more than the sale of one or two homes. And so for the township to be looking at this financially, they should be also asking themselves, is there other value I can get out of this site rather than just dollars? So look at the annual revenue as well. The tax income or the rental income, either is a possibility. There are three scenarios. In the first, the town continues to own the site and rent it. They're currently owning 11%, or rather obtaining 11% return on what the post office was paying. That was about $12 per square foot per year. Village rents are in fact 2 to 3 times higher, so the income could be higher. And in this case, the township retains the site for future sale, which always remains an option. The site could be sold to an investor for improvement and reuse. Currently, it would bring in about $63,000 in taxes. With new use and possibly expansion, it could be as much as $160,000 per year. And the third scenario is the site could be sold to a developer, demolished and then rebuilt. Revenue here would not likely exceed $200,000 based on the current proposal, and would certainly be less if a pilot program were approved. And the other factor to consider here is that driving this number up implies that retail rents in the new building are higher, and that is a significant risk village-wide because a rent increase for our smaller businesses would be unfortunate. So rental income can be higher than tax income, and to put things in perspective, for the median size home, the annual benefit of any of these choices is less than $10 per year in your taxes. By way of summary, in terms of annual income, demolition does not lead to the highest annual income. Income from taxes or rent is a small portion of the typical tax bill in any case, and the rental option appears to generate more income potential. In terms of profit from sale, it's much lower if the building is demolished. It's certainly a tempting fix to balancing the budget, but a cash fix from an asset sale is poor policy, particularly in such a valuable location. A sale should be the means to a spectacular end, not just a way to pay today's bills. What this is telling us is that finding long-term value requires us to look at alternative approaches as well. It's the site's intrinsic value, the fact that it is a prime piece of land and it does have an existing structure on it, that leads us to this conclusion. So here's where we're at. Over the last few years, the town has issued a development plan. 2 developers have worked on it. JMF is currently seeking the contract, and they're working with a design that was based on L&M's original design. The public is waiting for an update to renderings, and the township seeks to sign a contract this July. Basically, the town is planning a July wedding, and the town wants to choose the groom now. Now, I've got a 17-year-old daughter at home, a fine product of our public school system. I know I don't have a prayer of choosing my son-in-law. That just isn't happening. Besides, I wouldn't want to make that choice for her in any case. So how did we end up with this particular partner? Well, in 2010, King's indicated they wanted to expand within the village, and the township sought a design that would accommodate them. In fact, all of the proposals received accommodated them. Subsequently, King's changed their mind, and JMF Properties was told to start with that basic design, but to remove the actual supermarket. So today, we're working with a vision for a site that is unnecessarily narrow. In fact, Mayor DeLuca just last month said that that we all should expect that a plan would evolve, that it would be adapted with time as the development process went on. Well, in fact, this plan was conceived 5 years ago. It's time to refresh our goals and review alternatives. We're not in a race to sign a contract. Or to put in more personal terms, you rarely marry the first guy you meet. Rarely. Fortunately, most of us as parents take a different approach. We rely on goals and values to guide our kids. Turns out, as residents, we do as well. Now that we have a proposal in hand, it's time to return to that discussion and choose an approach that brings meaningful value. Over the years, a number of forums have included this discussion, and some references are provided below. Some of what was discussed on the concept of value build on the current village assets and brand. Consultants tell us that Maplewood is unique and envied, and that should not be tampered with. Focus on new active uses that will increase shoppers throughout the village. Include destination uses for town and county residents. Embrace small businesses, cottage industries, studio spaces, startups. Support complementary services, wellness center, fencing alliances, and affinity groups such as seniors, students, young families. Many people point to the woodland as a success with multiplier. A dollar spent in the woodland is spent again somewhere in town. What can we learn from that experience? Can we do the same thing in a way that is not cultural in nature, but perhaps one of the ideas above? So finally, one of the themes that has been discussed repeatedly is sustainability and green features, that we should make a statement and create a model with this site. And Greenness 101, frankly, starts with an evaluation of alternatives to demolition, and that conversation has not happened yet. So by conclusion, sales profit and tax revenue need not be our first priority. There are other approaches that produce financially viable results. Alternatives deserve evaluation. We have a narrow scope now, and in fact, the township and developer have the option to withdraw at any time. And we understand why history has brought us here. Kings does not want to move, as they had indicated earlier. What can you do? Well, insist on evaluation of alternatives. Insist on the dollars and good sense. Let's see the finances. Let's make good decisions. Attend township committee meetings. Email committee members. Assess candidates on the issue. This year there are going to be choices. There will be multiple candidates running for the primary in June. Follow ONO 60 and visit the ONO 60 info website. We've got a lot of good information coming. And spread the word. Like us, share, comment, email, and yes, by all means, talk about it. Hopefully you found this quick overview enlightening. Thank you for taking the time. There are detailed versions of these slides available online, and please connect with us and stay informed.